Thank you very much for joining me, Polina, here chatting to you a little bit about this very interesting and very deliberate full moon, almost conjunct Saturn, that is happening on the 11th of August. So, for me, there's a very, very nice, almost like a deep end or like a feeling centered to this moon. So, this is not your regular joyous full moon during the Leo season. I think there is something very, very strong and sometimes also depressing about a moon like this. I have a Saturn moon conjunction as well in my chart, so I understand it a little bit. But like the thing is, it helps you, it helps you sort things out very fast, and it clears the air. So it's not that joyride that usually a full moon in Leo brings, but it is better than that because it is a practical and a very, very perfect and clear way in which your emotional body or your life or your body itself might react. So there is a very, very special diminutive energy that Saturn and Moon conjunction usually brings, but there's also an expansion. So if you, like me, have a Saturn moon in the sky, you might have no problems with this type of moon because you're already kind of noticing things as they happen, and you might be able to count in, program, or kind of predict things before they happen. So there's usually a predictive energy to a Saturn moon anyway. So if you, like me, have a Saturn moon conjunction in your sky, you're already kind of there. So before the depressing thing happens or before anything falls out of line, you already know. And also before anything great happens, you kind of can already predict it or see it. So that's something very, very important, I feel, for me as a Saturn moon to experience and learn more about. There is a depth and a meaning to any Saturn moon. But when we have like a lot of different things in the sky, so firstly, of course, it's a full moon, it's a completely different feeling. There is a big reason to live. We have Mars very close to the North Node. We have Uranus, of course, next to the North Node. Reason to live. Jupiter is very, very strong, close to Chiron in Aries. It's so hard. Reason to be. There is a huge reason seeking and reason finding feeling. Follows as close to the MC. We want to really feel what life is about. We want to really love ourselves. We want to really get to know who we are as people. We really, really are coming also to an ending or a next frontier of something or even somebody in our lives. There's a very big brewing or even a brooding behind the scenes. So for me, as an astrologer, I feel it's really important to see why else things can happen here. So we also have Fortune going through Libra, and that's very, very uncomfortable. You know, sometimes like Maki next to Fortune, also the mother planet, it's very, very hard to realize things unless they're already happening for some. It's such a brutal energy. I feel that for some people there's going to be a very big change and a very big depth. Also Pluto being at the end of Capricorn, Moon would have just passed through Pluto and kissed Chariklo as she goes towards Saturn. It is such a scary time, I think, for us, and I think there's going to be a very, very big burdening that comes with this moon. And I also feel there's going to be a very big blessing. So that's a very, very easy thing, I feel, for me to find now, you know, looking over the chart here, because we don't usually see things for what they are during a Leo time anyway, because we're so big. And our egos or our hearts are in developments, and it's very, very hard to get to know anybody or anything. And it's so hard to be oneself also during this crisis that we're going through. We're still going through like a big interplanetary crisis, not just here. So like there's like a very, very big issue, I think, also with how people find themselves and what is love these days, and who isn't real enough to be your friend, or what is and what isn't pure or worth it. There's like so much, you guys, so many of us waking up and just understanding now we don't want to be anywhere near it. We don't want to be a part of it. We don't want to necessarily say goodbye to our friends, but I do understand that a lot of us are closing doors, simply shutting out what was once available or affordable, and that's hard. So I'm feeling that for me also a lot of people, I'm sensing there's going to be a shunning, a shutting off. So sometimes people walk away from us, or we walk away from certain experiences and certain people. Also, we can wave the corruption goodbye. I think that a lot of us who have been waiting and willing to wait aren't going to will to wait anymore. I also feel that quite a lot of us are going to ask again, what is the reason that I live, or what is the purpose of that, what I'm doing? So a lot of that which we've been blessed to be able to do and produce during June, July, and a lot of this that has taken our fancy and our whim. You know, we like really loved it, and we wanted to be secure. We wanted to be outward and obvious in front of people. There's a very interesting disheartening and de-securing that is happening during this month. Obviously, just to let us know what is actually real at the end of the day and who we are not to be anymore. So that's very hard, I think, for me as well. I think also for a lot of people that have been pulling in the one direction, or they've been trying the same thing again and again, or they've had a vision or a choice. And that's very, very also grateful, you know, I feel, when you are at a certain type of brink or changing of tides and you get it. It's like, I fully now know where I'm not meant to be and who I'm not meant to be with. It's a very, very easy way to go. Also, I think that this moon is a big blessing because she's going to touch you on the shoulder, like tap you on the shoulder and be like, hey, you know, you got this going on here, or like, hey, can we do something about that, or like, can we really be honest and proud here? And then eventually I feel quite a lot of it will just wash over. So I feel that always Aquarian moons are very deep and profound, and they're very, very public and full of it. They're very, very like full, and they're very emotive, and also sometimes a little unkind. But this particular moon also coupled up with Saturn there in the end isn't going to be easy, but it's like a very cheap choice. So this is what I'm really loving about this moon particularly, is that she's going to find you a way to make matters clean and clear, and let the picture be shown, and let you see the full result of your life, or the result of what you are trying to do here, and just be like, tap, 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 okay, okay, do you understand? So she's a very, very thrifty girl. So as many of us moon Saturns are. And also, like, there is like no build up to things. You know, this is very unquestionable time. There is sometimes an epic ego trip or an emotionality, especially in a tiger year for Leo. But we got Saturn overweighing the moon, of course, in the sky. And there's going to be a very, very deep dissatisfaction. And then, like, after you just know it, and in a way you like enjoy it, you're like, yeah, I'm like fully like well equipped now, actually, in a way. I didn't even understand that I was to leave the situation. It's like, actually, you know what, like, I've scanned like this whole situation, I've scanned this whole room, I've scanned my business, I've scanned my accounts, or I've scanned this relationship, and actually, you see, like, now that I'm here, I think I need a way out, and the thriftiest ways are possible. So sometimes there is something very, very cheap and easy. There's hand-me-downs. Tiger Year loves a hand-me-down, especially a hand-me-down from a master. But be aware also, if you're like inheriting something from somebody else, so you're buying something for cheap that has been pre-used or pre-loved, you might have also a connection or a link to that person as a guide or a guru to you. So it's not just like cheap things standing outside someone's house on the street, or like for free, you know. It's not just a garage sale situation, that can look like one. It's more than that. Also, there is like a very easy way that people just give in. You know, they hand you something, or like the world just basically goes, look, like, I can't afford this anyway, just take this. There's like a fallen leaf feeling. It's like leaves fallen off the tree. And that's good. You know, also, like, if you are here in the time of nearing the harvest, you know, if in your local city there's already like quite a big array of apples and pears, or I don't know, like probably September, I don't know, like whatever grows on trees, you know, that is harvested now. That's kind of like that. It's like, look at all this fruit. And yeah, for some people it is a sadness. It's not like an easy thing necessarily to find what you're finding in your life, and how life works things out for you, or weighs things together for you. It's kind of like, well, this is just kind of like how the cookie crumbled. Like I actually, it's almost like I was unaware of this, or like this was not like really part of me until it became me. Like I didn't know that this was the way that my sled was going to go. I didn't really picture it as being this certain person or this certain situation that would, again, you know, surprisingly like happen. It's not just about surprises, though. I feel with some people it is surprises. It is kind of like, look, take it or leave it. Here's the door, or here's the entry, and this is how you're going now. This is where we're going now. I think that's a very, very easy way to go. I think for a lot of people there has to be a very deliberate yes. And I think that sometimes it's like we can't afford to do it any other way. So there is a need to be sometimes like taken by the hand, like, okay, look, I'm just taking you to the doctor now. You know, like going to see a medic, having to spend or receive money for something very quickly. You know, there's kind of like almost like a, which way to go? Here, this way to go. Okay, I don't know which way. Okay, here, this way. So this time signature of Saturn being next to the moon during this time is very, very important, and a quick rebalancing also, as she would have passed Chiron and Pluto in the sky. So she would have become cleansed or hyper driven or even extended or accelerated as Pluto would infuse the moon with so much more power and meaning, of course, and velocity. And then this electricity eventually goes into the right door. It's kind of like pinball. It's like, I don't know which way, I don't know, oh, here, this is the way. So if you've been brewing something for a long time, interesting. If you didn't know what to do, if you didn't know what to be, if you didn't know where to go, if you've also had, like, for example, this is quite careful with this, a lot of money sitting there in your wallet, you didn't know how to spend it, or a lot of options given to you and you just like didn't see which way. There's going to be an acceleration of consciousness. There's going to be an extreme. So sometimes things just get stuffed into a bag. That's the feeling that I'm getting with this particular energy. So it's like, look, I'm just going to pick you out something, and you're gonna go ahead and wear this, or like, here, look, I'm going to find you a result. It's going to take me like 5 minutes to do, and then you're gonna go, and then you're gonna apply that result. So there is like a quick matter of factness about this type of energy, and I think that we have to be sometimes very obvious as to why things have happened this way. You know, so there is like a shuffle. Also between people, I feel there is a shuffle and there is a time. It's just a very, very creepy way in which one person leaves town and another person enters town. It's a very, very quick, cheap and easy turnaround. You know, so when it comes to, like, say, marriages, homes, relationships, having certain things in this place and then having them in another place, there is a very, very timely and guru way, actually, in which this Pluto would have fortified the moon in the end of Capricorn, in order to quicken her just enough so she just jams into the slot where Saturn is. And as she becomes full eventually, you know, so I'm seeing on the 11th, she won't be exactly, but like she will eventually become full. As she becomes full, she will give you everything. And sometimes we have to be very, very niche or very humble. And that's very, very crazy, but sometimes it's very quick. Like, it's a quick to judge energy, and it could be very, very awful sometimes how things end up as well. You know, like, if you're going through return of Saturn, like, I'm so sorry, you guys. Wow, like, it's awful. Sometimes, like, very quick and very scary, like, very sketchy way in which things can turn up. But also at the same time, it's a big relief. Sometimes situations are expensive for us. So we're talking thrifty, right? So it's expensive to hold on to the job. It's expensive to look at that all day. Like, it's so expensive for you to live in a certain way. Maybe you are putting a lot of energy, money, or time into something that is just like taking you like forever, and it's taking you around the bend. And it eventually takes so much time, energy, and power to fix these things. And without these type of snippets, like snipping moons, I wonder what would happen. So it's like a snip. Things are done without you even noticing that they're done. Like things are changed even without you feeling aware that they changed. Culture changes very rapidly. So we're looking at Aquarius, of course, culture, where people do actually now want you around and how people do accept you, or if they don't. If somebody wants to be around you and is open to you at a drop of a hat, that also is a very interesting thing. Or like if a ongoing, like step by step feeling in the wrong direction, you've been going in the wrong direction and still kind of cruising, like yeah, it's okay, like it's going okay, it's affordable for me to be here, you know, like say if you're just cruising and you're okay, there's going to be a snap also. So if you are doing things that are not to do with you, if you're doing things that are not close to your heart or your heart center, if you're not making enough money at a job when you're still trying, or if you are putting your situation at risk also, and if you are doing nothing all day as well, and you are not complying with your progress with nature itself, if you're not being who you are fully, if you are not enjoying your life, or if you are taking money or resources, energy or power from another person that doesn't want to give it to you anymore, there's going to be a snapping off, which is what Saturn is known for. So any pressure on Saturn is hard. Any placement of, any planet next to Saturn is very, very uneasy. So if you look at your chart, if you've got something next to your Saturn, like, gosh, like, I'm sorry, it's so hard to have anything, because Saturn doesn't like anything. Like Saturn just like slaps it away. You know, so if you have the big, friendly, and kind of global Aquarian moon like coming up like, hey, 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 I've just visited Pluto, I'm so nice, or like, you know, I'm at a nice sextile to Chiron, like I know myself, I know everything. It's like, you know, like I feel good, I look good to myself, you know, I'm like a cat on the prowl. Like there's like this kind of like slightly flamboyant, annoying feeling sometimes to an Aquarian moon person, because they kind of they already they made it. You know, Aquarian moon is like that's the highest moon. It's like the most joyful, brilliant, sensual, colorful, and also kind of slightly weird moon. It's like so I did the juice, you know, like I've worked myself out, so look at me. You know, it's like kind of weird like that. It's like a little creepy. It's like a little creepy. It's a little left behind as well. It's like, well, I've seen life for what it was, and guess what I know now. So it's a little bit like a do-gooder moon, and eventually that door, that door. So like Saturn is like, okay, you know, like really dry, very dry, and it's also very kind of derogatory at first. I mean, can you imagine this fluffy, colorful, well-fed, well-dressed, sexy, like slightly strange, you know, moon coming up to this door where Saturn is like, it's not really a bouncer, it's just like the gatekeeper, you know, or like the time watcher, and he's like, who are you? What are you doing here? You know, it's like a very, very weird little sort of a theatrical idea of what this moon really is. And I do definitely understand that with Eros also, and Ceres close to the sun, quite close to the sun, we don't want any of it. We're like, wait, I'm well fed, I'm well dressed, like I'm actually like doing business pretty good this year, like I found my match, or like I found the one. And then Saturn in Aquarius is gonna be like, no. And also it's a retrograde Saturn, so that's very, very difficult for me also. I mean, I'm just like a normal, regular Saturn moon conjunction, but like a retrograde Saturn, wow, you got to really look back. You got to look back, and you also got to look forward. But before you go forward, you have to check. It's like, have you got enough money? Have you got enough paper? Did you do the work? Did you? And here's where quite a lot of people really, really well, and surprised as to how well they've done. So this is where the cat lands on its feet no matter what. That's a really, really beautiful thing. So it's like the cat just lands on its feet. So Leo does really well. For some people, if you have done the work, if you're the person that organizes and spruces and clears and cleans and takes care of business and doesn't let rubbish sit there stale in the kitchen and, doesn't participate in weird social things, always makes sense. If you're a person that's made sense, always made sense, and if you've got your road pretty well ironed out in front of you and behind you, it's going to be so easy. I actually think that for a good organizer and a very sturdy person that knows who they are and knows how well they've done before and knows what they have to do now, I think the answer is going to be very easy. It's going to even be, for some, I've been waiting for this. Like, I've been saving my money for this. I've been doing my dues, like waiting for this. I've been expecting things to go this way. I've been waiting for this to happen. So if you're one of these people that is very, very well equipped for almost anything, and your house is spick and span and your bag is ready to be packed, sometimes, it's one of those moons, and you know what number to call, and you've got it all on tap and you've got it all together. If you are very, very well and you know everything, by now, and you hear me and you don't even flinch anymore, maybe you would be very well. If it comes to jumping in on an opportunity, it's a very nice time here to walk in on something that you really, really had to see or really had to witness. It's a very, very brilliant and sensitive time where, you should have been there to be able to benefit, or to be able to see it, to believe it. Like, it's a really, really good and even fancy time. So I'm seeing quite a lot of you guys, if you are an over-prepared perfectionist, and if you tend to see things for what they are and even belittle things, if you're a bit stern, if you're a little bit sorry, aggressive about the details, and you want to make sure that that sternness is also seen as love sometimes, because maybe you over-prepared out of love in a way, or maybe you over spruced, or you over cleaned, or you tried so hard to make sense, you tried so hard to make it. And like, for example, for an Olympic level athlete, it's an incredible time to shine. So I definitely do understand you. Not many of us really do this in life, but if you also have a certain type of reality where you are honestly, like, constantly studying, constantly trying to get the best out of you, if you are a very good teacher yourself, if you're a very good knowledgeable guide, and if you are really truly a humble and caring king of your castle, and you really know what that means by now, I salute you, because there's just going to be opportunities, lots of opportunities, especially if you're a really good stern guide. Like, if you're a professional, if you know your stuff, if you really, really, really understand, and you have a certain type of sensitivity that comes out of practice and diligence, and wanting stuff to matter, like you want it to matter. Like, you want your life to matter, you want your practice to matter, you want your friends to matter, you want it all to make sense. I think it's going to start to be a very, very breathtaking and very kind space. So especially if you have been hurt before and you didn't see any results. So, like, say you didn't see any results from trying so hard, if you didn't think that you'd get noticed, if you never thought that you would be as blessed as you can be now, I think it's a very, very big definite yes for those people that have come such a long way. And also, if you have, for example, a father or a mother line in your family that has done a certain type of business, or has owned a restaurant or a shop, or if you've got something historical that has already been seen and noticed and loved, and if you're repeating something in your mother's or father's footsteps, and also if you are taking care of the elderly or the young, and if you intend for your family, your home, or your business to go into the future, and all transparency and all care and intense love, because in a way Saturn does soften us, so that lovingness sometimes is just like, wow, I care so much, I just want to get it right, that kind of thing really, really helps. So quite a few people that you probably didn't expect to win anything this year around, you didn't see them at all for who they were before. Quite a few people that actually really did put the work in, and many of us that actually did really, really want to thrive no matter what. And maybe there were ways in which we have achieved something that other people don't, then we'll see the point of it now. So we're going to see the point of, like, say, building a house. We'll now see the point of, like, say, doing your own stuff, living off grid, or doing a multifaceted business by yourself. You know, we'll see that. We'll see what for and why. And also, as things start to crumble for some people, we'll see an elevation of other people. So this is more of a global prediction. I do definitely believe this is not maybe interesting for some people, but we will see a crumbling and disintegration of things that are not necessarily done badly, but they're like a repetition of something else somebody else has done, or they're made to catch your attention. You know, things that are just like made to catch your eye, you know, and made to kind of make you feel something. And people that are fighting for your attention, people that are just cheap, you know, they're kind of like friendly, but they don't actually have you in their hearts. Also, businesses and commercial endeavors that don't mean anything, but they're just so flavorful and so colorful, and they look so lucky. But you see, Chiron, even retrograde, is getting very, very close to retrograde Jupiter. I mean, Jupiter in retrograde is getting close to retrograde Chiron, and we have also retrograde Juno conjunct retrograde Neptune behind. And we also have actually a retrograde Pluto here. Even Chariklo is in retrograde. It's crazy. Like, I'm going to tell you actually who's in retrograde these days, just for fun. So we got north and south nodes, Chiron, Eris, Jupiter, Neptune, Juno, Vesta, Saturn, Chariklo, Pluto, Pholus, all in retrograde. That's an emotional roller coaster, you know. And we also, I think, are starting to really just want to look. I just want to win. So on whatever level, you know, sometimes it's not like that. It's just like I understand that some people are going to have to lose a lot to get humble and get home, or they're going to gain a lot depending on their predecessors and their history. So I think that some of these retrograde pulls, like mega pulls, are not just about like we and what we're doing today or how we're going now. I don't think it's actually about the here and now, as a lot of social media has been, and a lot of like the drama on TV or in the music industries, whatever. Social media is so like here and now. It's not actually here and now. There's going to be a mega pull, I believe, culturally and magnificently towards the simple things that actually sustain the world all along. So getting back to the normal elemental things like, you know, water, fire, air, earth, you know, ether, wood, you know, metal, others. You know, like sometimes, like for some people, like it really takes a long time to learn that life is just about the simple things. I feel that a lot of these cozy places that we've shared with certain people that were and still are like rude or rough on us are not going to be able to stand a chance. There's always a softness to Saturn. You know, Saturn is not just a cruel thing. It's also like, look, you know, old age is something that we're going to really understand. Maybe we'll have a different type of conversation about it later, but like it is feeling to me that this conjunction of Moon and Saturn is a question mark. What am I going to do when I'm old? Especially in Aquarius, like what am I going to be a part of when I'm older, like even next year? And 2, 3, 4, 5 years time, who am I going to become? You know, who am I going to be if I am still doing this, or if I'm still part of this group, or if I still care so much? Also, like the question is, where have you been putting your sequencing? Time, Saturn, time, money and time, sure, whatever. You know, it's also like about what you've been putting your hands to. It's like, have you been painting? Have you painted a lot of paintings you don't know what to do with them? I've been one of those people. Yeah, I just left them. I just left them. Imagine, crazy. You know, so it's like books. You know, like writing books, or just like writing blogs. Like, I don't know, painting your nails. Like, keeping up appearances. I don't know, like we all put our time and energy towards something or somebody. You know, it's like I've been making a castle. This is very Leo. Okay, I've been making a castle, you know, out of, and you know, it's interesting because we don't have to look that much further than just things in Leo. Sometimes it's like, look, I've been making a castle out of pottery. I love making ceramics. That's my little castle. Or like, I've been making a castle out of paintings. Or like, I've been making a castle out of phone numbers that I like to collect and call or play with. Or like, I've been making a castle out of my friends on Facebook. Or I've been making a castle out of yoga books. I don't know, like anything. Anything. Like collecting underwear, you know, collecting friends, you know, collecting quotes, you know, making sure that you're doing well. Like, what is your castle made of? And now we have to maybe, you don't have to do this, have a look at the deeper and more profound meaning or meanings of that very castle. It's like, for example, like I have a castle of woven baskets. And when I was a child, I remember loving baskets, and I think my hands remember how to weave them. Maybe one of my ancestors, or 4, or 12, or 90, used to weave baskets too. That's a very interesting thing. And when I weave, I feel like my hands are strong, and I feel strong in my body, and my whole body feels good. I'm one of those people. I weave baskets. For example, okay, here's another one. I clean. Another one. I clean a lot. I love my whole house spotless. I love to clean and organize, and I do so many things to make sense to me. So sometimes my life makes no sense, and oh my gosh, just to see a good, clean, well-smelling, well-presented home brightens up my day. Great. And inside is sometimes, okay, when my mother was angry at me, I used to go to my room and just clean my room because she told me to clean my room. And then like I felt better. I felt sick and I felt bad, and then, you know, whatever. And then like when I got married and I was still cleaning, you see, you got a story with it. Any castle you're building, the castle of, I don't know, the cheese collection in your fridge is a castle. The mites under your bed is a castle also. You know, like the glamorous TV shows, castle, that's a castle. Like nail polish collection, that's a castle. You know, collection of shoes, your collection of memories that you, if you really always love to think about things that happened in the past, that's a castle. Especially Saturn next to Moon, wow, it's a castle. What is your castle made of, and what does it represent authentically? So this is Saturn Moon, authenticity. It has to be authentic. And then you see how much further you can grow and sequence, and how much further you have to maybe leave things be. Like, whoa, I had no idea that was happening in my life. Like, how can we make it better? And how can we make it worse, maybe? But the best idea is basically to see it in perspective. It's like, okay, I have a huge collection of, imagine what it could be for you. I don't know. What do you have? You have a big collection of what? Like, what do you have? You know, I've collected all of this, you know, and then understand what it means also unconsciously. You don't have to do this, but if you understand what you are grounding your ego or your heart, like your feel-good energy, Leo, where you grounding in your money, where you spending, where you investing your time. If you really get it, if you know what you are doing and how you're investing your time, that's where you really get it. That's where you got it. That's wow, what am I doing? You know? And then maybe some people will be very proud. You know? After a lifetime of that, I got myself to this by doing this. You know? So it's almost like a boat that gives you an answer, you know, it gives you an idea. It's like from, for example, depression and lack. Example, I used painting to get me to a nice job and stability. Example. For example, from pessimism about my life and not feeling good about myself, I chose fashion, example, and the art of appearance, example, to get myself to a state of knowledge and realization, example. So it's not all black and white, and I think it's really, really good to get there and also to understand and readdress your collections and what you spend your time doing, and understand why you have a big amount of something also. And if you have, like, for example, an overbearing amount, you know, Libra fortune during this interesting moon. If you have an overbearing amount of, like, say, makeup, if you have an overbearing, like a huge, also deficiency, like for example in calcium, you know, if you have a giant debt or like a huge bank account, it's interesting. You can see what is going on and also what is right and what is wrong. So this is a very, very interesting, intimate time that sometimes nature does it for you. If there should have already been a change or there is a change coming, it will probably happen now. And I think that's also a very most exciting time for me, because I think that as we part from Lilith in Cancer, and yes, Venus is behind the Sun, we start to gradually understand, you guys, our naturalness and the simplicity that we are after, and our normalcy and our simplicity and our care and the different wants and needs. And I think, to be honest, like without sugarcoating this too much, I feel that we'll see very fast what is wrong and what is going against that which is natural for us, which is what this moon is really about. So thank you very much. Enjoy, and I'll see you next time. Also, please check out the links below. Bye.